Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that ready. I'm a bad man. Wait. I took up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's why I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my AKHis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Boxing Hood episode 4. Today we are accepting call-ins, so feel free to call in to the number that's displayed on the screen so you can hold your position. I have been getting a lot of requests. A lot of my AKHis want to call in. So with that being stated, make sure you hold your position. I'm gonna try my best to take as many calls as I can. Obviously, with me today, my own broski, my own AKHi.
Yeah, this is Shahab, back with episode 4.
And you already know we're gonna cook them up today, from Canelo Alvarez, him battling with DAZN, to Crawford being hunted down. I mean, he was the hunter, now he's being the hunted. And of course, Gary Russell and Devin Haney back and forth, and many more. So, like I said, depending on the topic you want to talk about, call in depending on the topic. So if you want to talk about an Errol Spence topic, call in when we do talk about Errol Spence. And if we don't touch on anybody you want to talk about, you can always call in and talk about and create your own topic. You could create your own topic and your own segment on Boxing Hood and Split Decision. Also, if you're a decaf and you want a quick pass to a debate, you get a VIP pass. You don't got to wait. None of that. All you have to do is let my AKHis know in the comment section below that you want to debate, and don't sugarcoat anything. Let's just go straight to smoke, because it's smoke season every season. So with that being stated, make sure you all call in to the number as viewed in the comment section and the description box below. Shout out to all my AKHis in the chat. Shout out to my man, Jalise. Love you, AKHi. Love you right back. Unconditional love. Hey, that's my bro Ski right here, showing love from day one. Alhamdulillah. Another day, another dollar. And you already know we're gonna cook the decafs up. So with that being stated, let's get straight to it. So like I said, shout out to every single one of my AKHis in the chat. And what you have for me today?
Okay, for topic round number 1,
Let me go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we had
let's get
Ramirez
ready
and
to
Postol fight.
rumble.
Ward commented on this, saying that Ramirez's style, he has a style which he will struggle with almost with everybody.
Yeah.
And Josh Taylor went on and said that outstanding performance from Postol, but in Ramirez not so much. But he also dissed Andre and said that he doesn't know Ish.
So I mean, you threw a lot at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the Andre Ward comment, about Ramirez. I think that's just like another nice way of saying you're gonna you pretty much exposed. Him saying that he's gonna struggle with pretty much everybody. That means every style is your kryptonite. And I see where he's coming from, because I was highly critical of Andre Ward, when he was talking about the fight and claiming that Ramirez took like the first 4 rounds, which I didn't see that. I thought Postol edged a lot of the early rounds because he was doing a beautiful, job boxing. Meanwhile, Ramirez, he was rushing his work. He was not cutting off the ring, and he was being a bull. But what's the point of you being the bull or the aggressor if you're not the general in the ring? Like, a lot of people confuse the ring generalship of coming forward. No, that's not the case. You get the ring generalship points if you come forward and cut off the ring and corner your opponent and make your opponent feel your presence. I didn't feel that from Ramirez when he was fighting Postol. I felt like Postol controlled him. I felt like Postol was actually the ring general because he was dancing in the ring. He was being the matador. He was controlling Ramirez. So that alone, the fact that he controlled him with his jabs and he landed better punches, especially early on, I gave some of the early rounds to Postol, and I actually had Postol winning the fight by 1 point. So I did, critique Ward for his commentary during the fight, and that's why probably Taylor said that Ward don't know shit about boxing, because Ward does know his boxing. That's one thing for sure. Ward, one of my favorite fighters of all time, he haven't lost a fight since he was 12 years old, right? And he was also injured. Imagine, like, you are injured with your right shoulder and you still win all of your fights, most of your amateur fights and all of your pro fights. That speaks a lot of the Andre Ward intelligence and ring IQ. But his commentary, I don't know what happened. Timothy Bradley, all of a sudden, a lot of people gave him slack, including my man Devin Haney, for not being able to pronounce Ramirez's name during the fight. But he surprisingly, came out of the bush and started preaching like, yo, Ward, what you talking about? Postol controlling him. I got Postol winning or something like that. So I was like, wow, like, I didn't see that coming from Bradley. And I'm a high critic of Bradley, so I like to give credit where credit is due. And he did a tremendous job, calling out Ward for what they both disagreed with. However, all of that aside, I like the fact that Andre Ward came to the forefront and told Ramirez what it is. You're going to struggle against everybody, because, Postol it's not the same undefeated Postol that fought Terence Crawford. This is not that same guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's first of all, it's not the same Postol.
Yeah.
Second of all, he already got beat by Josh Taylor, and it's like the faded version of Postol. And he, in my book, beat Ramirez. So I could just imagine what Ramirez, like, what Taylor will do to Ramirez. And not just Taylor, Devin Haney. I felt like Devin Haney is like he will wash Ramirez. And I like Ramirez as a person, but I'm going to just call a spade a spade. I mean, even Lopez, like I said, I just don't see Ramirez surviving the A-level fighters. And that's what Andre Ward means. He's going to struggle with the best, because he struggled with a B-class fighter, especially a faded version. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where Andre Ward coming from. Now, Josh Taylor, also co-sign everything he stated from the fact that he said, you know, that wasn't a good performance by Ramirez because this was his coming out party. This was supposed to be his moment where he let the world know he's for real. However, I don't think he did it. And credit to Josh Taylor, he joined the tournament. That was the Super 6 at 140 that Ramirez did not want to hop in and face the likes of Ugas and a lot of the fighters on the tournament. That Ramirez played the safe route, and he stayed over there on ESPN. Meanwhile, Josh Taylor, just like Andre Ward, when Andre Ward went to the Super 6 at 168, Taylor, nobody knew him coming into the game. And he beat the heck out of Postol when he only had 12 fights. He struggled early on, but he figured out Postol later on. And then I believe he actually challenged the first fight he had on the Super 6. He challenged this American fighter that was undefeated. And he just watched him. And I was like, damn, like he just came out of nowhere. And he picked this dude personally. Like he was like, I want this undefeated guy that, you know, the American fighter that's undefeated. And Taylor just, you know, he put on a show. So when I saw that, I knew the kid was for real. And I was favoring him to win the tournament and even upset Ugas, which that's what ended up happening in a very, very classic fight. So him versus Ramirez is a walk in the park. Just like Andre Ward said, he said it in a nice way that Ramirez is pretty much going to struggle against everybody because he likes to fight, but he was fighting Postol fight. He was boxing when he was supposed to pressure Postol like a bull and make it an inside fight. And he didn't have the it factor, or, you know, what he showed me against Postol, that's not going to do it against Taylor, pretty much. And not against Devin Haney, nor Lopez, or any of the top level fighters in the game. So, you know, as far as Taylor, though, dissing Andre Ward, I don't know where that's coming from. I'm assuming he dissing Andre Ward for his commentary.
Based off the fight.
Yeah, for the fight. He probably really disagreed with Andre Ward, claiming that he won the first 4 rounds. And like I said, I don't know what Andre Ward was talking about. Like, I mean, like I said, I saw it differently. I couldn't see Ramirez take every single round in the first 4, especially because, like I said, he wasn't doing anything. You know, a lot of people was like, oh, Postol was only throwing jabs. Yeah, he was also following up with right hands. But what the heck was Ramirez doing in the process? Not a damn thing. And just because he come forward, like I emphasize this point, just because you come forward doesn't mean you're going to get credit for that unless your presence is felt. But if the guy that's controlling you is actually the guy that's moving, like Floyd Mayweather, every time he fought, a lot of times he will move around, but he will get the credit for the ring generalship because he will control his opponent. So the ring generalship goes to whoever is the general in the ring, the fighter that makes the other fighter do what he wants to do. So, like I said, you know, at the end of the day, Andre Ward, one of the most, you know, intelligent fighters in the game. And also, I'm pretty sure I like his commentary. This is my first time really disagreeing with a man. And I don't know what happened. But, you know, like I said, I don't know what my peoples think about the fight. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we have a call on the line. So, like I said, the number is in the description box. Yes, sir. I think I got a call.
Somebody.
Hello, how you doing? HUNTED, who this is, and where are you calling from?
What up, HUNTED? It's your boy Jay, calling out of Oregon. What it do, man?
Man, Jay, man, every time I talk to you, man, you always make my day on the show, for real, for real. That's my bro Ski right here. What's going on? Talk to me.
What it do, man? I honestly wanted to call in and talk about the very situation. I also wanted to cover Keith Thurman. and also cover who else did I want to cover? Oh yeah, and cover Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's start off with Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know what you got to say about Keith. You talking about Keith Thurman with the what he said about Floyd, or you got something else in mind?
Honestly, I wanted to talk about what he had also going on with. First of all, let me also say, HUNTED, man, you make my day every day, brother. I'll wake up every single morning. I keep playing, bro. Every morning.
I appreciate the love, man, for real.
Night, evening. You know, botches my life, and when it comes to new media, you know what I mean? I got to give it to, the realest of the real. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're the real media.
Less than that, man.
I appreciate it, Aki.
Real media, real love, and real facts. You feel what I'm saying? Real facts.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as Keith Thurman, bro, I think Keith Thurman is he's got a big mouth on him a little bit, bro. I do give him respect, for fighting Josito Lopez, doing what he did, fighting Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, fighting all the veterans and all the cats that we got leading for the new generation in the game today. But when it comes to him wanting to call out Terence Crawford, and now all of a sudden, since he lost to Manny Pacquiao, he wants to call out all the freaking champs now. You know what I mean? It's just like you covered in the last video, Split Decision 53, episode 53. He didn't do that until after he lost to Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? So he needs to keep that same energy. My whole thing is, how can you make an offer, to an undefeated, pound for pound champ of the world in Terence Crawford when your ass ain't even got, your O is gone. You know what I mean? Your O is gone. You know what I mean? You damn near lost to Shawn Porter, bro. And I'm not trying to diss Shawn Porter, you feel me? I do, I love Shawn Porter's performance against Sebastian Formella, which, just to let you DCAS know, if y'all feel like Sebastian Formella is a freaking pushover, you guys are crazy. Shawn Porter had a real fight that night, and I definitely feel like Shawn Porter could have stopped him. But back to Keith Thurman. To me, now he's a waste of an investment. To me, I definitely believe that he's going to have to work his way back up to earning his fans back and earning that name one time once again. I want to see the Keith Thurman that fought against it was before Josito Lopez. Before he got the injury. I forgot who it was specifically. But it was the old Keith Thurman, the Keith Thurman we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it was Danny Garcia when he came out since the first. I mean, I'm talking about the first round.
Came out blazing.
Throwing bombs at fucking Danny Garcia, bro.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, be honest with you, man. Like I said, man, I got love for Keith, man. That was one of my favorite fighters coming into the game. But, like I said, I can't ignore the fact that he just changed his whole persona as soon as, Errol Spence came to the game. I mean, he was saying things like I'm cool with being the second best, while Errol Spence was telling him I want to fight as bad as I want to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just not a good look on Keith Thurman's behalf. You know what I mean? So Keith,
energy switching.
Like you said, if he wants to fight Crawford and these guys, he gonna have to put himself in position. Like Shawn Porter, for example, Crawford told him, you're not in my plans right now. I got bigger fish to fry, which we're gonna talk about that later on. But when he said that, what Shawn Porter do? Now he the mandatory for the WBO. He ranked #1. You know what I mean? He putting himself in position.
#1.
He putting himself in position to force Crawford to fight him, either, friendship aside or not, if he likes it or not, he's still going to fight him eventually if he stays winning, right? So I like what Shawn Porter doing. Now, Keith Thurman has to do the same thing. He can't just sit and wait for a big check with Errol Spence and Crawford, and he just lost to Manny Pacquiao. I mean, with all the respect, he was supposed to beat Manny Pacquiao. With all the respect, he was supposed to crucify Manny Pacquiao because he said, I could be the prime Manny Pacquiao. I don't give a damn what he takes. He don't got to take no VADA test. That's what he was talking. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you got to talk the talk and you got to walk the walk. So he didn't walk the walk. Now he got to go back to the drawing board.
And I'm honestly glad you brought that up because I hear a lot of people on the platform, you know, on YouTube talking about, oh, the kids in over his head, you know, Errol Spence, the car accident. I'm like, do you guys know what the art of boxing is? What boxing stands for? Like, I'm like, look, Danny Garcia is no pushover. This is, to me, going to be a real test for Errol Spence. I'm not trying to discredit Shawn Porter one bit. I'm not. Shawn Porter, to me, has earned my respect since he freaking lost the IBF title to freaking Kell Brook.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, he had my respect back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Shawn Porter is willing to fight anybody, regardless if you're friends or not. And a lot of people are not giving him credit.
Right.
Shawn Porter is willing to fight anybody, anyone. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people haven't mentioned it, but he's the most recent champ, ex-champ, to be fighting right now. I mean, yeah, to be fighting right now. Right now, you know, September 26th, we got Jamal Charlo versus Rosario. We got his brother gets what's his last name? Derevchenko Sergey.
Yes, sir.
Derevchenko. How do you say his last name?
Derevchenko. Yeah, Derevchenko. And we also have Ugas this week.
Yes, he's another one I wanted to cover. Everybody said that Ugas versus Porter was a robbery. So all you DCats listening, just to let y'all know, including the ones who said they bad with picks, Ugas lost Shawn Porter in a fight. That was not a robbery. Porter won that fight. You feel what I'm saying? You got to look at from the first round to the 12th round all the way through. Ugas, I'm not discrediting Ugas. I loved what he did against Figueroa. To me, I feel like Figueroa was too easy of a fight for him. Because Figueroa was coming in that fight undefeated. He had never been stopped. Everybody knows that Figueroa's got an Iron Man chin. And to me, that fight should have been stopped. I felt like Ugas stopped him in that fight. But as far as I'm concerned, bro, I definitely believe that Ugas is next in line to be champ. I feel like it should be Ugas versus Shawn Porter for the mandatory spot against Terence Crawford.
Thank you, man. That's actually a good idea because, you know, I did have Ugas egging the fight. A lot of people felt like Ugas won as well, but Shawn Porter did put up a hell of a fight. Now, why not run it back? And then the winner gets Terence Crawford. That's actually a great plan. Now, how you feel about the WBA title? Because he's fighting for the regular WBA. Now, do you even consider that a real title? Because I don't know. I'm getting a lot of mixed feelings because a lot of people not considering that as a real title since they have a super title. So do you really consider that as a real title? Do you think Ugas is going to be recognized as a champion?
I definitely, that's a great question. I definitely believe that Ugas will get the recognition that he deserves because he's coming out of Cuba, one of the great Cuba fighters coming out of the Cuba culture as far as boxing. And now as far as the WBA, to me, the WBA is not a prestige title as far as the WBO, the WBC, and the IBF, because when it comes to the history of the WBA never really had, you know, as far as franchise champions like, you know, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, you know, Tommy Hearns, and, you know, fighters like that, you know what I mean, that actually put, you know, a great name on the WBA, you know what I mean, that gave it that lineage, that gave it, you know, that history that it deserved it, and made it as prestige as, like, the titles like the WBC and the WBA, I mean, not the WBA, the WBO and the IBF titles and stuff like that. To me, the WBA is almost equivalent, which in a way it's kind of equivalent, but equivalent to the franchise title in a way. You know what I mean? To me, I feel like it's a way to protect fighters. You know what I mean? But now they have a legitimate way.
The WBA super title you're talking about, right? Because you don't have a mandatory for that title. The WBA super title, you don't have a mandatory, and that's who the champion is, Manny Pacquiao, right now. So you don't have to fight no mandatory, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
So the regular title, you do have a mandatory, and you actually could fight for the title. Now the super title, see what it used to be. In order to win a super title, you have to have 10 title defenses, but because I don't know what happened, like I can't tell you. You know, now they just giving out free titles. It used to be in order to earn a super title where you do not have to face your mandatory, you have to defend your title up to 10 times. So if you do that, then you are a champion where they call you a super champion because you get awarded that position since you already defended your title 10 times. You know what I'm saying? And that makes sense. But now they just giving out free super titles. You know what I'm saying? So it's just making the sport look bad, like we need any more belts. So, you know, any last thoughts? Because I know you threw a lot of topics at me. So what else we leaving out?
All right. Before I go, you know, I do want to let you know, my brother, Goku and Vegeta will be the end of the Dragon Ball Z Super Arc, just to let you know, as far as combat. The enemy is going to be Vegeta. It's just going to be, you remember the way that Dragon Ball Z started is the same way it's going to end. You know what I mean? Now everybody's just like, what is this guy talking about?
Man, I hope
Keep
it don't
watching
end.
Dragon Ball Super.
I hope it don't end. I hope it don't say that, man. I hope it don't end, man. We just getting started. They just brought it back. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully Mora survives somehow. They haven't discovered or, you know, talked about the demon arc. You know, that's a whole arc because see, you know, Ramirez, I think that's his name. He died or sacrificed himself. But you know, he went to the demon, you know, side or whatever that is. So, huh?
Was it Demon King Deborah? Was it Deborah? Because Deborah was alive in the arc. He's now alive in this arc.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
You sure?
Positive.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's just so much they could explore. You know what I'm saying? The demon arc, and you got like the Thurman and power and all that. So, man, it's also more universes. Remember, like it's 12 universe, but it's also 18 universe total. And the dragon wished them back because it's Android 17. He said, you know, wish everything that the Omi King destroyed. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's so much they could explore. So if they just end it right now, man, that would be heartbreaking. Because like I said, they just need to have this Dragon Ball need to continue forever. That's how I feel.
Right.
Yes, sir. So
yeah,
I'm.
Before I go, I have one more question for you, HUNTED. Before I go, undisputed pound for pound, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, the fight of the century, history being made. Who you got your money on?
Man, listen, I feel like they both survived in a miracle way because, of course, Crawford got shot in the head and he's still here today. He drove himself to the hospital. He pretty much treated himself on some superhero shit. On the other hand, Errol Spence, he a walking miracle. You know what I mean? Like the man, he survived in a miracle way as well. People keep saying, is he going to be A-OK versus Danny Garcia? I'm like, man, he did not just survive, you know, by an incident or accident. You know, this man is a walking miracle.
There's a reason for everything.
Yeah, and like I believe in that. I truly believe that Errol Spence have a purpose. His nickname is the Truth. So I got to go with the Truth because stylistically, I favor Errol Spence against Crawford because Crawford is a good mover. And if I recall correctly, the last person that beat Errol Spence in the Olympics was a mover as well, kind of like a Crawford style. I think he was also a southpaw with more reach and height. But the only difference, that's amateur. I believe Errol Spence had the pro style even in the amateurs. He liked to sit down on his punches. He liked to go to the body. That's why they call him man down. He breaks his opponent down, then go upstairs. And I feel like that blueprint will work tremendously against a guy like Crawford because Crawford, he is southpaw. You know, he's also a switch hitter. But against another southpaw, I'm looking to see what Crawford is going to do. Because you got to remember, Errol Spence vary his offense very well. So he's very hard to counter. He also, his self-present, when he apply pressure and his inside work is on another scale. I mean, I think he's the best body puncher in the game. So on the other hand, Crawford, he have better hand speed, similar power, but I think Errol Spence hit harder. He obviously, Crawford is a smaller guy. He counters to the body very well. But like I said, if I have to put my house on it, I have to go with my man, Errol Spence. What's your take on it?
Me, as a straight, legitimate boxing fan, I have to have my money on Errol Spence. I've been rocking with Errol Spence since he was fighting Chris Algieri, since he fought Kell Brook, since, he was his upcoming, start in the Olympics. I definitely believe that Terence Crawford is a force to be reckoned with. I do believe that if Gary Russell was to do what he said he was going to do and move up to 147 and fight Terence Crawford, I definitely would have had Gary Russell, giving Terence Crawford a good fight as far as 1 through 6, like I gave Teofimo versus Lomachenko, because Terence Crawford gets stronger throughout fight. You know what I mean? But Errol Spence is on another level when it comes to digging to the body. He goes to the body like it's filled with candy, like it's a piñata. Errol Spence, what he did to Shawn Porter, bro, like everybody's talking about, oh, he went to the body very well against Chris Algieri. I'm like, no, bro. I've never seen Errol Spence hit anybody to the body the way he did against freaking Shawn Porter. He was trying to make a statement. He also did it against Mikey Garcia.
Okay.
Mikey Garcia got his ass beat for 12 rounds. And I don't know if you heard the interview earlier. I forgot who it was by. Somebody, I remember I was going through my YouTube account, and I went on one of these sites, and they sitting here talking about some Errol Spence could have stopped Mikey Garcia if he would have been more focused. I said, huh? What? I said, for one, Errol Spence beat this man down for 12 rounds, man.
It was a beat down.
What you mean? What the hell are you talking about, bro? Mikey Garcia what is he? I think he was a 4-weight division champ, if I'm not mistaken.
He fought at 140. Yeah, he fought at 140 twice. And what people fail to realize, he only moved up pretty much 1-weight division because he already fought at 140 twice.
Yes.
And he was looking to survive. It's hard to knock out somebody that's not, if somebody really looking to win and go out on his shield in order to win, you could get the knockout. But if you're fighting somebody that's looking to survive, man, it's kind of hard to get the KO.
Like Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. Everybody was talking about that was the fight where Errol Spence was going to get tested. I'm like, bro, Lamont was in survival mode the whole entire fight. Literally. I give Lamont Peterson maybe the 4th round and the 6th round at most when he came back against Errol Spence because he was taking a tremendous beating, bad beating. If anything, in my eyes, I felt like Lamont Peterson should have retired after that fight.
Yeah, he should.
That was horrible.
That was horrible. That was like that.
That was horrible to watch.
That was an ending career type of beatdown. And, so like I said, man, great talking to you. But do me a favor, man. You have to go to the comment section. You got to send the decaf my way. You really got to do me the favor tonight.
Yes,
and force a decaf to call in. Because, see, as soon as the live is over, they in the comment section talking crap. You know what I mean? They got so much to say then. But when I'm on live, man, I can't pay a decaf to call in. So I'm going to need you to go in the comment section. And if you peep a decaf, if you see anybody talking crap, force them to call in. Because like I told you, man, I ran out of decafs. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So great
talking
talking to you,
I
man.
got you. We brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But one more thing. To all you decafs listening, to all you haters out there, y'all listening to the realest of the real. Nobody does it better. Y'all show my boy some love. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. Shout out to Ego. Shout out to my boy Blue. Shout out to my boy Dante's Boxing Nation. Shout out to Champ Side. All up to OG, RJ, and OG Gusto. I love y'all, Keith. Much love to you, bro. Next to you, what's up with the big homie?
Appreciate you.
All love, baby.
Appreciate it. Appreciate all love. That's my man right here. Like I said, he always come through preaching. You know what I mean? So with that being stated, man, like I said, I appreciate my key and all the decafs, man. Like my man said, if y'all have cojones, call in. That's pretty much what he said. Collect the Dragon Balls and wish the dragon to grant y'all the cojones so y'all could call in and debate. So with that being stated, we can't pay a decaf to call in, man. I'll tell you that much. So Let's go ahead and move on to the next round. We finished with the first round, right?
Yeah. Okay, for round 2, is the Zone going to sell company?
Why you say that?
Because they want the Zone claimed that Canelo haven't had one significant / premier fight on the Zone yet. Basically, they say in other words that they probably calling him out for cherry picking for not getting with the best.
Where are the Canelo fans when you need them? The fanboys. What was I telling you last week? I just posted a video today of Oscar De La Hoya claiming that Canelo is the savior of boxing. You know, Canelo's going to come back and save boxing. Yeah. But this Zone is calling Canelo out for cherry picking, and they telling Canelo, you haven't had one premier fight. So for the people that is not comprehending what's going on with the Zone and Canelo, pretty much they're going back and forth, they beefing back and forth. So I'm going to start it from all the way from the beginning. So I'll make sure I cover everything and we don't confuse any of the main points that a lot of people possibly not informed on. So where is T-Tone when you need him? You know what I mean? Hey, RJ, if you see T-Tone, man, force him to call in, because I got your request last time. You told me to knock him out, but like I said, every time it gets real, he disappear. 50 Cent once said, have a baby by me, watch me disappear. T-Tone, as soon as we talk about Canelo, he disappears. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going on. I think T-Tone is Canelo baby. But so let's not mind the decaps. Let me go ahead and talk about what's going on and the issue at hand. So HBO went out of business, right?
Yeah.
I told you last time, if Canelo was gonna bring the Zone to life, he would have saved HBO from drowning. That only makes sense. I mean, how can you be the biggest star in the game? You fight under HBO, and HBO drowned because they ran out of business. So Oscar De La Hoya, though, I gotta give him props. He played it the right way, business-wise. So what he did, the Zone realized, hey, we trying to launch our new network, is streaming network. What's the best way? What's the best timing? The best timing is now, because HBO just went out of business. So there's a lot of fighters we could sign that left HBO, including Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. That was like the main two. So what ended up happening, Oscar De La Hoya, he went on an interview. I forget who the person is. He's an older fella. It's not even a boxing channel, but he always interviewed legends. So he was interviewing Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar De La Hoya told the biggest lie of all time. He said, Canelo Alvarez, this is verbatim out of Oscar De La Hoya's mouth. He said, Canelo Alvarez is like a redhead Mexican. People love him. Every time he fights, he does the biggest numbers in boxing history. I was like, oh man, this dude, he really trying to sell Canelo. Yeah. But after he said that, he mentioned the DAZN deal. That's as soon as they signed the DAZN deal, and that's why he was informing the fella, like, we got this deal on the table because Canelo, man, he does breaking record numbers. He always break records. He always does the biggest numbers on TV. I'm like, man, he really trying to sell Canelo. And he sold Canelo to DAZN because he told them, y'all want breaking records? Y'all want numbers that y'all can't comprehend? Sign Canelo. So what he did, though, to sign Canelo under DAZN, he signed all of his fighters as a package with Canelo. So he made DAZN pretty much pay him for his fighters and Canelo. He told DAZN, you can't just have Canelo and not sign none of my fighters. You have to sign all of my fighters and Canelo. So he ended up finessing DAZN of $90 million just for his fighters that they don't care about. And also he finessed DAZN for like $300 million for 11 fight deal in 5-year period for Canelo Alvarez. So that's 2 deals. So Oscar De La Hoya gets, I believe, 16 to 17 million. That's what we know a year just to host fights other than Canelo. So Canelo didn't know anything about that. He thought he was only getting a deal for himself. He thought that was his only deal. He didn't know Oscar De La Hoya used his name to get a huge contract for his fighters. So pretty much the question have to be asked, why do we hear drama of Ryan Garcia complaining about pay if DAZN offered Golden Boy 16 to 17 million a year? They should be able to pay him very comfortably. Why is Ryan Garcia complaining? Why is, like, there's a lot of questions raised, and that's why DAZN is going back and forth right now with Golden Boy. Also, Canelo Alvarez found out that Oscar De La Hoya pimped him out, so he really got upset. But more so, he started getting upset at Oscar De La Hoya trying to force him to fight the fighters that he's still ducking to this day, which is obviously Andre and Charles. So pretty much, how things played out. DAZN, I don't know what's going on with DAZN. I think they don't know much about boxing. They had a lot of businessmen that they didn't know about the business in boxing, how business work in boxing. It's a whole lot of competition. It's not monopoly. It's pretty much competition, right? So DAZN was overpaying fighters. I mean, Eddie Hearn came out as soon as he came to the United States. He was like, it's the takeover. I have a $1 billion company. He said, we overpaying fighters. Pay-per-view is dead. He had all that to say. He said he's going to take all the fighters from Al Heyman. He started dissing Al Heyman. He started dissing Bob Arum, right? These are the veterans that had the longevity in the sport of boxing. So he dissing these guys. And then Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn pretty much signed with DAZN. And obviously, you know, DAZN offered a lot of money. They were throwing money left and right because they had a lot of money to give. But they had the wrong mindset, because you could give out a lot of money, but the better question is, how are you gonna make it back? You know, okay, I'm gonna give you 30 million, but I'm gonna need to at least break out even so I won't lose. So DAZN pretty much thought that Canelo was gonna save the day. I don't know what they were thinking, because they did the same thing with Gennady Golovkin. They signed Gennady Golovkin to $100 million deal, $100 million for like 5 to 6 fight deal. 100 million. So they talking about pay-per-views dead, this and that. And, you know, pretty much over the long run, DAZN started realizing what I be preaching daily, which is Canelo's stardom is dying. Gennady Golovkin's stardom is dying because they keep avoiding the best. At once, they said Gennady Golovkin was the boogeyman. Then we all found out that was a lie. Then they said Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. He the best in the game. Then we all found out that's a lie, including DAZN. Now, all these Canelo fanboys that don't want to call in, they don't have the cojones to call in because they can't go against facts with their emotional opinion. It seemed like they have a relationship with Canelo, like, yo, like that's why they have female parts, because they be acting like female. They be acting like they in a relationship with Canelo because they can't see the truth. Even DAZN are criticizing Canelo for cherry picking. They said that Canelo haven't had one premier fight. One! And he already fought like 3 times on DAZN. The reason why, because they not seeing the numbers that Oscar De La Hoya promised when he told them that Canelo, he does record-breaking numbers on TV. History breaking numbers. That's what Oscar De La Hoya claims. So DAZN are waiting, like, when are these numbers going to show up? Because he fought, I believe, Daniel Jacob. That was his biggest fight yet on DAZN. He did 660,000 views in the U.S. and 1.1 or 1.2 million worldwide. This is the face of boxing they talking about. And DAZN at the time had a deal where it was $10 a month, and I believe it was $90 a year, so $8 a month. So they not gave that much revenue. Now let me just break it down. like an accounting. You know, I mean, I don't like to count nobody money, but I'm just showing you how much DAZN is losing. Okay. So Canelo gets a guarantee of 33 to 35 million a fight. So against Daniel Jacob, for example, he got 33 to 35 million guaranteed. On the other hand, Daniel Jacob got 12 to 15 million dollar guaranteed. That's 50 million total.
Yeah.
Now, what is the revenue that's coming in? They did 1.2 million
worldwide
views worldwide. If I have an account, you could view it on your phone and I could view it on my phone. Two people could view the DAZN app with one account. You get up to two people. So the 1.2 million views, who that to say that's everybody have an account? Possibly half of them are people that's sharing it with their friends. You got to keep that in mind. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say 1.2 million times $10. What is that?
1.2 million.
Yeah, 1.2 million times $10. What is that?
10 million 200.
That's the revenue they brought in.
And so that's not even enough to.
They not even breaking out even. So they like, oh heck no, and they raised the DAZN app from $10 to $20, and that still didn't do the magic, because when Canelo fought Kovalev, they paid Kovalev around the same money. They paid Canelo around the same money, and they did even worse in numbers that they didn't even release to the public. So Oscar, like I told you last time, if he's saving the sport, why DAZN haven't been releasing his numbers? Because I told you there's only one reason. He been flopping because he been cherry picking. I told you I ran into one of my best friends the other day, Epifanio, and I asked him, man, what's up, man? You ain't a fan of Canelo? He said, no, that's still my man. I said, well, the last time he fought, you didn't even watch the fight. He said, because I knew he was going to win. I'm like, yeah, because you knew he was cherry picking. My point exactly. And Canelo was trying to sell the fight. That was a legacy fight. I'm moving up 2 divisions when it was a clear cherry pick. So that's why DAZN came out and said that Canelo haven't had one premier fight. In other words, one good fight. He haven't even fought one good fighter we want him to fight. He haven't fought Andre. He haven't fought Charlo. And he ain't even fought Gennady Golovkin. Now, they lost on the Gennady Golovkin fight. They lost on the Gennady Golovkin investment. Let me explain why. Gennady Golovkin was a fighter they signed. Same situation with Canelo. They gave him all this money. He making $15 million a fight. For what? To cherry pick? Because he did not bring money either way. He didn't bring subscribers. He didn't bring viewership. So DAZN started realizing, like, damn, we really thought Gennady Golovkin was going to grant us a lot of subscribers, but it clearly didn't. And he's cherry picking. He said he's interested in the young lions. Andrade is a young lion. Charlo is a young undefeated lion. He turned down the fight with Charlo when the WBC ordered a fight. Andrade is a champion when Gennady Golovkin wasn't a champion. And Canelo said, if you want to fight me, fight Andrade. And Gennady Golovkin turned down the fight. So my point is, Gennady Golovkin, his stock started dropping. He fought Deryachenko, another Ukraine fighter, and he lost the fight. But he robbed Deryachenko in the process. But one thing you cannot rob is our eyes. We clearly saw who won. The fans know who won. So now Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin, this clash, this trilogy fight that it was anticipated, is no longer the same. The fight lost lust. People they no longer care about the fight because Gennady Golovkin is older. He got exposed. Canelo is getting better. He's younger. However, he cherry picking. He destroying his own brand. His stock is dropping. And that's what DAZN realized. They're like, man, we paying this man $33 million. We getting a freaking $10 million back. And that's where DAZN miscalculated. All right, what I told you last time. DAZN should have had the contract where it clearly says you have to fight the fighters we want you to fight. If we're going to give you a guaranteed $33 million fight, you have to fight the fighters we want you to fight. But they didn't do that. So it ended up backfiring on them. Also, where they miscalculated, they overpaid a lot of fighters. They overpaid Canelo and they overpaid Gennady Golovkin. and they let them have their way. Now, if you have a 33 million guarantee per fight, guarantee, are you gonna go out of your way to promote the fight? No. Are you gonna go out of your way to fight better competition? No. Are you gonna go out of your way to do anything?
That's
no.
the problem with that contract.
So that's a freaking problem with the damn contract. It's not a percentage deal. If it would have been a percentage deal, well, look, Canelo, if you do this amount of subscribers, you get half of the revenue plus this signing bonus. That would have been perfect. But because they just gave him guarantee money, man, Golden Boy even came out the other day talking about we could wait before announcing the Canelo fight a month before the fight because there's no fans. What do you mean? You still have to sell the fight. You still have to promote a fight. I mean, Floyd Mayweather fights. The whole thing about how Floyd Mayweather got famous when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, it was the 24/7 that Floyd Mayweather made. It was Floyd was the entrepreneur of 24/7. And that's what the UFC did. They took a blueprint of what Floyd Mayweather did. Because Floyd laid out the greenprint of how to make money in the business of marketing yourself. So 24/7 came to the game when Floyd fought Oscar, him talking trash, him selling himself. So he pretty much, like, you pretty much get a, you know, you get hyped for the fight. You have to sell me the fight. You can't just tell me there's a fight and there's a date. Okay, tune in. A lot of people are not just going to tune in. You have a lot of casuals that tune into the story, to the background of a person you fighting. They want to know what's the risk. They want to put a gamble on the line. You get what I'm saying? So Canelo didn't do a lot of those things. And on top of all of that, he was cherry picking, and he's still cherry picking to this day. And that's why his brand is dying. His name is dying, like I said before. I remember, I'm a reporter. That's what I know the popularity of fighters. When Floyd Mayweather was in the game, I report on Floyd, right? The numbers you get, you know Floyd is the face of boxing. Even Manny Pacquiao. You report on Manny Pacquiao, you realize, damn, this dude actually, like, people love Pacquiao. You report on Deontay Wilder, you get numbers. You report on Anthony Joshua in the UK, you get numbers. Meanwhile, it got to a point now where you report on Canelo Alvarez, nobody give a damn. Even his fans got tired of damn Canelo cherry picking, trying to fight a freaking dude off a loss. That's why DAZN got tired of him. Like, man, we over here telling you we losing every time you fight. We losing 30 million a fight every time you fight. And you want to fight a dude coming off a loss? And now DAZN is playing it smart because they had a deal with the Golden Boy. And now Canelo can't even, this is how crazy it is. Canelo can't even see his contract. Canelo doesn't even know what he signed. Golden Boy and DAZN is not trying to show Canelo Alvarez the contract they had on the table. So their attorney is pretty much fighting DAZN. And I see why you said, are they pretty much going to sell? It's looking like they're going to sell because I'll be honest with you. A lot of people are like, man, I don't think they're going to sell now, but when are they going to sell? How long are they going to keep losing money? Because you got to remember one thing. DAZN is in the sport to make money, not to lose money.
But how are they going to sell it, though?
You could sell it to either ESPN or Al Heyman. Either PBC is going to purchase it or ESPN Top Rank going to purchase it. One of the two. But you also have to have a good price, a reasonable price. So Al Heyman, I mean, last time I covered Canelo, there was a talks of Canelo fighting on Showtime. So Al Heyman could be trying to actually purchase all the fighters on DAZN.
But would the contract still be the same? They still got to pay Canelo, right?
No, they're not gonna. Probably. I mean, but I don't know. They probably work out a deal, but I don't think they're gonna pay that much for Canelo, or they're gonna have Canelo take on real fights. They're not gonna have him cherry picking. Not under Al Heyman. You don't get to cherry pick under Al Heyman. Al Heyman always make the best versus the best. Look at Charlo, who he facing. Daryachenko. Look who Jamel is facing. Rosario, another champion. Unification bout. Gervonta fighting Cruz. Errol Spence fighting Danny Garcia. So my point is, fighting under Al Heyman, he always make the best versus the best. Manny Pacquiao, he was under Bob Arum for so many years. No, I mean, after the Floyd Mayweather loss, I mean, he fought Bradley for the third time. Nobody really cared. He fought Jeff Horn, Matisse. It was until he came to Al Heyman, he fought Broner and then Keith Thurman. Like, Al Heyman is going to give you money. He's going to give you what you're worth, and he's also going to look out for you outside of boxing. But one thing for sure, he's going to make sure he get every single penny. He's going to make sure you fight the best. He's going to you want to make money? The way to make money in the sport of boxing, you have to fight the best.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my point is DAZN is in a very tough situation because if you look at their schedule, they don't have no fights announced. You a streaming network. You like for example, ESPN, I could go on ESPN right now, and if I go on ESPN, I could pretty much probably watch a show, TV show. I could watch games. You know what I'm saying? I could watch different things. You know what I mean? On DAZN, the way they make money is by promoting fights live. So if they don't have fights live, there's no revenue coming in, right? So DAZN, in a way, they losing money fast and they getting sued fast because a lot of subscribers that subscribed yearly and they were promised 16 fights a year, quality fights. They're like, where the heck is the fights? Y'all promised us all these fights. Y'all did not fulfill y'all part of the contract. So I want my money back. These the fans speaking. A lot of fans already sued DAZN. So DAZN is in a very tough situation. That's why they pretty much going back and forth with Canelo. That's why there's no fights announced from Anthony Joshua to even Ryan Garcia, even the small fights to Canelo Alvarez, Andrade, Smith, you name it. Because they realized if we're not going to make money, if this is the path we going in, we better stop now before we go too deep and lose more money. So that's pretty much what DAZN realized. And like I said, they could be up for sale pretty soon. You know, if they don't work out something pretty quick, it could be they could be up for sale pretty soon. I don't see Al Heyman purchasing the DAZN fighters unless it's a good deal. On the other hand, Top Rank and ESPN, it'd probably be a good idea for them to actually buy the DAZN fighters. Because if Al Heyman joined forces with DAZN, and Al Heyman already have 80% of the fighters, is a monopoly now. It's no longer competition. Al Heyman took DAZN out of business. And now he could start his own belt, PBC. If you want to fight a fighter on PBC, you have to sign with PBC. He could have that type of deal and take over the sport. And I'm talking about some UFC, takeover. You know what I mean? So all this was possible thanks to Canelo cherry picking. If Canelo could have saved his own, if he fought Charlo instead of purchasing a French fries belt, requesting the WBC to make a belt, and he bought the belt. You know how you go and you purchase something from a grocery store, whatever. He purchased a freaking strap, the French fries belt, right? He purchased or he ordered this. He forced the WBC in order to make the Canelo versus Ivini fight, a fighter coming off a loss. I said it's a horrible look, and DAZN is fed up. They finally listening to me. Like I said, man, I've been telling DAZN from day one. I keep telling you this all the time. If you look at fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali fought every single fighter you can name. Floyd Mayweather fought every single fighter you can name. People want to say he cherry-picked, but that's a complete cap. They just hate the fact that Floyd Mayweather is TBE, and he happened to be just like Ali from the Coincidentalist. Ali was more hated than Floyd. The point is, where is Brian Kinney of Canelo Alvarez? Because Floyd Mayweather, every time they told him to fight somebody on TV, like Brian Kinney, he goes and fight that person. Where is the Brian Kinney version of Canelo Alvarez? Why we don't see somebody on DAZN pressure Canelo and ask him the tough questions respectfully? Like I told you before, all they have to tell him is like, when you gonna fight Andre? He gonna be like, oh, he born. How he born? He move around. Well, don't you move around too? You moved around against Gennady Golovkin. And then Canelo, he's stuck in a corner. Now he looked like a man with no cojones if he don't face Andre. And that's my point. This zone made a huge miscalculation by not having the right reporters around to ask the tough questions when it comes to their fighters in order to start drama and spark the flame for promotion. People don't like, I mean, we all love sportsmanship, respectful. You know, I respect you, you respect me. But man, that's not what sell fight. What sell fights is talking crap, is actually beef between fighters and drama. So if it's all goody, nobody really care. It's too boring. People don't like to be bored. They want to be entertained. So, like I said, that's why Canelo is destroying the zone. And I stay to be corrected. And the decaf stay to be incorrected. Oscar De La Hoya stay to be incorrected. Canelo is not doing record-breaking numbers. People lie. Women lie. Numbers don't lie. According to the zone, Canelo numbers are flopping. Canelo Alvarez did his highest numbers against Daniel Jacob, which were around 660,000 views in the United States and 1.2 million worldwide. Man, like I told you guys before, David Morrell, a PBC prospect who's only 2-0, who made history becoming an interim WBA champion with only 3-0, he did 1.3 million views when he fought. That's more than Canelo. And this is an upcoming star. I don't even go to, I don't even have to bring Errol Spence to the table. I don't have to bring none of those guys to the table. So with that being stated, I have a caller, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the call, and then we're gonna move on to the next round. How you doing, HUNTED? Who this is, and where you calling from?
How you doing, HUNTED, man? It's nice to see you, my man. It's good to hear from you. Are you doing well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How we feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good, my man. My name is Shawn and I'm from North Carolina, man. I really I respect what you do, man. You got a great, channel. You got great artwork. I mean, I think it's real marketable, by the way. You keep doing what you're doing. Let's talk boxing, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk boxing. What you got on mind? You got a topic on mind, or you want to talk about the topics we got?
Let's talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about. I love talking boxing, man. I've been boxing for many years and stuff like that. I'm an amateur fighter, and I'm looking to get back into the game. So just watching your channel gives me that motivation and just gives me that entertainment. That's very a necessity for me to continue to do what I do.
Appreciate.
So I want to thank you on that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's talk about Gennady Golovkin. I feel like I disagree with you on that. I think Gennady Golovkin is a legacy fighter in a lot of cases. I mean, I just think it's kind of shot under the bus due to probably the African American culture. And you know how I'm an African American myself, and I love the African American style, and I love African American fighters who have a slick style. And a lot of times, they are avoided due to the fact that they don't make enough money, or they don't bring a lot of things to the table. And you got a lot of Hispanic fighters that, have that fan base, and they have that backing to, continue to do what they do and make a lot of money. So they tend to avoid a lot of fighters like Charlo, Andre. They're good fighters, but they just can't sell. They don't have the American fan base behind them. But I think Gennady Golovkin, I do believe he beat him in those last two fights. I honestly do. I'm actually going to get back and what's up?
Who you thought beat who?
Gennady Golovkin beat Canelo.
All right.
Canelo. I think he definitely beat him the first fight.
Okay, but why you say he's a legendary fighter? Like what do you think are his significant
because he won.
wins?
Okay. To be honest with you, if you want to be real, the fighters that he fought when he won all four belts, the WBC, the IBF, the WBA, and the IBO, they really weren't really it wasn't really heavy competition. But I feel as a fighter, he did what he was supposed to do by winning the championship, and he actually unified. So you got to give him credit on that.
Yeah, but see, I gave him credit for trying to unify coming into the game, but you got to recall he didn't win all four belts because he never fought Saunders And he also gave up his IBF strap when he was supposed to fight Devyachenko the first time around. And then when Jamal became his mandatory, he didn't want to fight Jamal either. You know, he said that like that, you know what I mean? Like he brushed Jamal off, and his trainer, he was going back and forth with my man Dante, debating and stuff like that over why Jamal doesn't deserve a shot with Gennady Golovkin. But like I said, the only issue with that is Charlo is a bigger name than 95% of the fighters that Gennady Golovkin fought. So you can't use the excuse of he's not a big name when Gennady Golovkin fought so many unknown fighters. Charlo actually have a brand. Charlo, his brand is lines only. He actually have something to lose. So that's actually a big name. One of the biggest fights in the game is Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez. Charlo, you know what I mean? Like if you peep Charlo and the money he making in the sport of boxing today, he's about to be a superstar in the game. He's on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? And when Gennady Golovkin went on pay-per-view,
that's true.
When Gennady Golovkin went on pay-per-view for the first time, he did 97,000 or around that number, from 97 to 150.
150,000.
Yeah, it's 150,000 from 97 to 150. That's horrible. If you ask me, it was a unification against Lemieux. But the reason why people was turned off by Gennady Golovkin is because he was claiming that he's pound for pound number one. He the best. He the most feared. But remember when Andre Ward wanted to smoke at a catchweight at 164, and Andre Ward.
I remember that. You're right.
You know, Andre Ward, let's not forget, he was pound for pound number 2 behind Floyd. And Gennady Golovkin kept calling out Floyd Mayweather. He kept saying, Floyd, we could fight at 154, we could fight at 160, whatever, you know, so on and so forth. And then when Andre Ward, you know, he checked him, he like, you know, I'll link up with you at 164. You don't even have to move up to 168, even though you fought your whole career at 168. And Andre Ward was coming off a layoff, and Gennady Golovkin turned it down. That's the only bad look on Gennady Golovkin, is that he never really wanted to prove himself. Because remember, it ain't just Andre Ward. Because a lot of people gonna be like, "Damn, Andre Ward, he one of the greats, though." Okay, well, what about Lara? What about Jamal Charlo? What about Andre? It's a lot of fighters.
Laura,
I mean?
Let's talk about Laura real quick. Let's talk about Laura. Hey, I feel you though. Sorry for interrupting you. I'm sorry about that. I want to apologize for that.
No, you good.
But Laura, I think Laura, due to the fact that he doesn't speak English, it's actually hard to market him in the U.S. But he's actually a really good fighter with a heavy amateur, you know, pedigree. Yeah, you know, he does a lot of, you know, sticking the jab and does a lot of. Go ahead.
I agree with you. See, you brought up a good point, and a lot of brothers always bring up that point that Lara should have learned English. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. But the only thing about that is Lara fought Canelo on pay-per-view, and at the time, Gennady Golovkin was actually he was pursuing a Canelo fight, and Canelo was actually avoiding Gennady Golovkin. Right. Remember, Gennady Golovkin, he was actually feared by a lot of fighters. Not everybody, but some fighters was avoiding him, including Canelo. So what Gennady Golovkin could have did, he could have fought Lara, the same man that actually beat Canelo in my books. I had Lara beating Canelo, and I felt like Lara got robbed. So if Gennady Golovkin could have beat Lara and even stopped him, man, that would have been a huge statement. But he let Lara bully him. Like Lara kept bullying him on social media. Like I said, Andre Ward did the same. Jamal Charlo challenged him. Gennady Golovkin didn't answer the call when the WBC ordered a fight. Andre, when he was a champion and Gennady Golovkin lost to Canelo Alvarez, he challenged Gennady Golovkin for his strap, and Gennady Golovkin didn't answer the call. So, like I said, respect is earned, not given. And Gennady Golovkin did not earn his respect in the boxing game like these fighters on the coincidental list do.
Okay, so I'm going to agree to disagree with you, because I feel like I think he's a great fighter. I just think that, you know, there's a lot of politics and a lot of management in boxing. You know, you definitely don't want to put your marquee fighter against a threat that's not going to really pay off. You know, I think Canelo, to be honest with you, skill-wise, due to the fact that he doesn't have a jab, he's not really fundamental, but he can really move his head and bait fighters in, and that's enough to throw fighters off. I feel like with that key asset, and, you know, him being technically, he ain't undefeated, but being technically undefeated, you know, I feel like he wanted. I thought he was gonna knock him out. If I was gonna be real with you, I thought he was gonna knock out Gennady Golovkin because I felt like Gennady Golovkin was overrated. To be real,
He's talking about Canelo.
but didn't happen. Yeah, I thought Canelo was gonna knock him out. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought he was gonna put him on the floor. I was like, man, listen, he about to move his head and he about to hit him. He about to clock his wig off. That's what I really thought, but that just didn't happen. But
yeah, I'm be honest with you. I had Canelo beating Gennady Golovkin, and I had Danny Jacob even beating Gennady Golovkin in a close fight. I mean, I don't really think Gennady Golovkin edged even the Danny Jacob fight. I don't think he even beat Danny Jacob in my books. But the third fight,
probably didn't even beat him. He probably didn't beat him.
And then the Deryachenko fight. Let's not even forget. Did you watch the Deryachenko fight?
Yeah, I did actually. I actually seen that. I'm actually studying that fight. But go ahead. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had Deryachenko even beating him. No, I had Deryachenko even beating him. And Max Kellerman, he's one of, I mean, he the biggest Gennady Golovkin fan, and he even admitted that Gennady Golovkin lost the fight. So, like I said, in order to be a great fighter, because you used a great, you said he a great fighter. So, a great fighter, you have to have great wins. And Gennady Golovkin doesn't even have a good win in my books. So, I can't call him a great fighter because in my humble opinion, he's very, very overhyped. Possibly the most overhyped fighter of all time in my books, due to old media. Old media made him overhyped. He just couldn't live up to his potential because old media made him this beast, this monster, the most feared, blah, 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 blah. But then when Andre Ward checked him, when Jamal checked him, when Andre checked him, you know, he didn't act like the baddest man on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't.
I remember a press conference. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing. I remember a press conference after the Julian J. Rock Williams fight. Jamal like beating Julian J. Rock Williams for the IBF title championship fight. I remember in the press conference when Jamal Charlo was trying to call out Gennady Golovkin, and he said he didn't say his name, but he was just like, he said that I could beat this fighter who everybody thinks that I can't beat, and I knew who that was. But this is he say, she say. It can be speculation. Say what you want, but I honestly believe, like before the Daniel Jacobs fight, when he was knocking everybody out, I honestly believe that he really was that boogeyman of the sport. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do. But
I mean, you got to remember.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you got to remember. Charlo put himself in position to fight Gennady Golovkin. He moved up and became his mandatory. So if he really wanted to smoke, he would have fought him. You know what I mean? If Gennady Golovkin wanted to smoke, he would have fought him because Charlo put himself in position. It's one thing to call somebody out. They want to say that's clout chasing, but actually, my man Charlo, he put himself in position. He was like, I'm not even going to clout chase. I'm going to put myself in position. But go ahead and, you know, I have a decaf on the line, so I want to pick up his call. So go ahead and lay out your last couple comments.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk, you know, boxing with you, man. I like what you're doing, man. I think your artwork is hilarious, man.
I appreciate it, my man.
Yo, but you're doing a good thing, man. I look forward to talking to you some more in the future, my man.
Hey,
man,
listen, you gotta call back. Hey, listen, for real, you gotta call back and call me back on Split Decision. I have 2 shows. One on Sunday, it's called Split Decision, and Boxing Hood on Wednesday and Thursday. Sometimes it goes either Wednesday or Thursday. So make sure you call back, because a lot of people say they're gonna call back and then I don't hear from them for a while. So I like talking with you, my brother. I like to hear the other side of the story, what other people think. You know, we don't always have to agree. You know, we could agree to disagree. This is the sport of boxing that we love. I appreciate talking with you, my man.
For sure. You got an Instagram, my man?
Yes, sir. AKHi/TV. You know, it's in the description box below. So just click on the description box and you're gonna find it. So make sure you follow me on IG.
For sure, my man. Take care, man. Be easy, my dude.
Appreciate it, AKHi. Thank you. So my man calling from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and RJ, tell T-Tone quit clout chasing off my name. I gave you a career and I destroyed it, but I'm willing to give you another career and destroy it again. So call in T-Tone. I got the number right here. So don't act like you don't got my number. I'll put it right on the screen. T-Tone, if you have cojones, call in. You keep talking all that rubbish in the comment section. Call in if you got cojones. But I know you got female parts and you don't want that work again. So, oh dang, I think I had that thing loud. Yeah, loud. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next round.
Okay, for the next topic, I think his name is Ugas. Ugas. Okay, Ugas called out Terence Crawford, saying Bob Arum never sent a contract. What's your take on that?
See, that's why, man. See, in the sport of boxing, it's just so much news that comes out. And there was news that came out that Crawford was in talks with Ugas, and Ugas went the WBA route instead of the WBO route. Mm. So a lot of people assumed that he didn't want to fight Crawford. He chose the easier route, and I didn't fault him for that. But now Ugas came out and claimed that Bob Arum never sent him a contract. So if Bob actually sent him a contract, he would have probably went the Crawford route right away. But either way, he's even in a better position now if he could capture the WBA title, because now some people want to call it a legit title. Some people don't want to call it a legit title. To each his own. Either way, he actually in a better position. So if Crawford want to fight against champions, because he always say, I only want to fight against champions. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope, you know what I mean, you're going to fight or entertain Ugas, because Errol Spence is busy. Manny Pacquiao is not interested. So what you going to do? Sit down and wait? If you're only interested in title holders, Ugas now is a title holder. And he also, in my humble opinion, beat Porter. Mm-hmm. So like my man said earlier, if Ugas and Porter fight each other in order to get a Terence Crawford shot, that will be great. If not, I will. If Crawford, if he actually plays an intelligent move, which is fighting Ugas, that will get a lot of hate off his shoulder, because now he's fighting the man that pretty much beat Porter and a top 5 in the welterweight division, at least a top 6 or 7, which is a very deep division, the deepest division in boxing. So Crawford cannot say, I'm only interested in title holders, and then try to fight a Lopez, because you informed me last time that Crawford is trying to fight Josecito Lopez. Mm-hmm. Like, man, look, to each your zone. If you want to fight Lopez, be ready for criticism all around the board, including AKHi, because one thing for sure, I gotta call a spade. And why even try to negotiate with Lopez? That's not a name you should even look at or consider. If it ain't a Kell Brook or better, don't consider it. Kell Brook at least beat a Porter. He at least gave Crawford, Errol Spence a tough fight. So you fight a Kell Brook, even though we don't know what version of Kell Brook that is, at least we could pretty much say, you know what? That's an interesting fight. If Kell Brook is the same, that's an interesting fight. It's a 50-50 fight if Kell Brook is the same. I favor Crawford, but I'm just saying. That's a question mark. You know what I mean? But you fight a Lopez, this is not 100% you're going to win. That's 1,000% you're going to win. Because a lot of criticism that Crawford is receiving lately is the fact that he is not facing the names at 147. The upper fighters, the A-level fighters. He's not facing those fighters. Mm-hmm. So you fight a Lopez, that's even worse than Amir Khan. That's worse than Benavidez. If it ain't a Benavidez, a Kell Brook, or better, Crawford does not need to entertain it. Because, see, my man Dante brought up a great point on his last video. He said what Crawford and Bomac should have said, I'm only interested in title fights, but because of the pandemic, we are short on money. So a lot of these PBC fighters are asking for too much. Like Keith Thurman asked for $10 million. We know that's not affordable. We know that's not makeable. We know he's asking for too much, right? Mm-hmm. Porter is going to want a whole lot of money. Danny Garcia is going to want a whole lot of money. any fighter you name at the A level on the PBC side is going to want some bread. So he could have easily said, a lot of these fighters on PBC want to get paid proper in order to fight me. So I'm going to just have a tune-up fight till the money is right after the pandemic. If he would have said that, then it would have been justifiable to fight whoever. You could fight Lopez, you could fight whoever. But when you come out and say, I'm only interested in title holders, and now you're entertaining a Lopez fight, a Kell Brook fight, now you opening yourself for criticism. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So, like I said, you got to pretty much be careful with what you say to the media, because that's not twisting your words. That's using your words and holding you to it. We holding you to it. You saying you only want title holders, so we don't want to see no damn Lopez. You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of people have been saying lately, and I have to agree. I can't disagree. Like I said, I got to call a spade a spade. Now, the fight with Ugas, I thought he already sent Ugas a contract. That's what I assumed when I heard that Ugas went the WBA route instead of the WBO route. Mm-hmm. But apparently that's not the case. So as far as I know, the way Ugas been calling out Crawford's gonna have to see my man Ugas if it ain't Keith Thurman, Porter, or even at least a Kell Brook. Man, you got to see Ugas, bro. So that's just how I see it. And that's a tough fight. I'm telling you, Ugas. I think Ugas beat a Keith Thurman right now. I will favor Ugas to beat a Keith Thurman right now. Mm-hmm. I will favor Ugas to beat a Porter again. A lot of people sleep on Ugas. I'm telling you, Ugas the sleeping giant at the welterweight division. I favor Crawford to slightly beat Ugas, but beside Crawford and Errol Spence, you know, Ugas really the man at 147, and a lot of fighters are sleeping on him. So I would even like to see Ugas versus a Mikey Garcia. That'd be a hell of a fight, man. Mm-hmm. If Mikey want to prove himself at 147 too, he have to fight a Ugas. So, hold on, we got the super chat. Bobby Ruff. Man, my man didn't even say anything. He's just showing me love off generosity. Like I said, I appreciate all the love and support. That's what keeps me on my feet. That's what keeps me producing. You already know I do this full time. I try to always bring the best real content. It's not old media, it's new media. The real media of boxing. We always talk about the real issues at hand. I appreciate you, my man. My man, Bobby Ruff, showing love for real on the comment section. So I appreciate it truly. And see, I'm checking in the number, and T-Tone having called in. Hey, T-Tone, I got you on speed dial. He said, you missed my call. That's a lie, because it's actually a conference call. So if you call in, you won't lose the call. And that's why I actually set up a press conference call for you to not duck me anymore. So quit ducking. I know you don't know shit about boxing. I know I lose brain cells every time I'm talking to you. Better not duck me, son. Quit ducking, man. Grow some cojones, man. You see Goku out here, bro? Man, go find the dragon somewhere. Wish the dragon for some cojones. Tell him, I don't want to be like Canelo Alvarez. I want to be like AKHi. I want some cojones, so you could debate me and call in. I got you on speed dial.
He said, you call me.
He said, you hear that bullshit? You hear that bullshit? Excuse my language. You got knocked out like 100 times on split decision, and you claim you're the A side? You are not even the Z side. You are a negative side. Yeah, I'm telling you, I got these decals shook. They scared to look every time AKHi's on TV. Shout out to my man Ruff, who just blessed me tonight. But like I said, I want some smoke, and T-Tone, he got no cojones. Canelo keep pimping you, man. Quit being Canelo HOE, man. Bernard Lucas. My man said, Loving the content. Laugh out loud. I appreciate it, my man. Shout out to Brand Lucas. And I appreciate you. Call in. Like I said, since the decaf won't call in, since T-Tone won't call in, since he don't have cojones, let's have my real HUNTED, Bernard Lucas, call in. You feel me? So I appreciate the love, though. Like I said before, these decafs don't have any cojones. Let me check again, so I'll make sure this T-Tone, look, again, for the world to see. I got a witness, my own HUNTED. What's going on? Do you see any call beside the host HUNTED?
No. He said you got his number, call.
I don't got your number. You got my number. And I'm going to put it to you on the screen. I'm really trying to cook him up today, but he really ain't trying to call in. I guess I just can't. He won't call in, but let's just move on. So we can go ahead to the next one.
Okay, for this, Shawn Porter is soon to become Crawford #1 mandatory. What's your thoughts on that?
See, I'm loving it about Shawn, because Shawn came out and said, I had a conversation with Crawford, a personal conversation. He told me, you're not on my plans. I have bigger fish to fry. So like I told you, I hope them bigger fish aren't Lopez and Kell Brook, but at least Kell Brook beat a Porter, right? However, Porter realized, I'm going to put myself on position. Hold on. I got another super chat. Man, Bobby Ruff, man, he out here blessing me tonight. For real, for real. Listen, Bobby Ruff, I really want to knock out a decaf for you. You keep blessing me like that, I really got to knock out a decaf for you. Man, I have to force him to call in, man. Like I said, force a decaf to call in. I really want some smoke. I've been waiting on some smoke, and I've been trying to make all of my keys high. I don't know what the heck I've been smoking, but I'm about to make it a real high once a decaf call in, because I really want all the smoke. And these decafs, they shook, they scared to look every time HUNTED's on TV. And my own HUNTED, Bobby Ruff, is a witness. Bobby Ruff is letting y'all know what time it is. He knows it's real out here. These decafs just don't want any of the smoke. My man said, when you did that piece about Wendell Scott, the NASCAR black driver, is when you won me over. I'm with you all the way. Terence Crawford is my pound for pound #1. Yes, sir. Like I said, that's what we do, is tell the truth, the untold truth that they don't want to talk about. Wendy Scott is a NASCAR racer. Just like they did Deontay Wilder is how they did him. He won the first place. Guess what happened? They didn't wave the flag. They waved the flag for the second place, because the second place was a white guy. The first place was a black guy. Pretty much the end of the story, right? So I know Wendell Scott hated the crap out of that song by Shakira, waving flag and all that, because he didn't feel it. He like, I can't feel that, because when the flag was supposed to be waved for me, they didn't wave the flag for me. Now they have scholarship. Now they have scholarship for the pretty much the criminal act they pretty much did.
Great.
Napoleon Armstrong, keep grinding, keep the truth in circulation, not narratives. Peace, King. Peace, my brother, my HUNTED, for real. My man Armstrong, you know, Armstrong, one of the legendary fighters in the game, top 10 in boxing history. My man, I don't know if that's your real name, but that's a great name. Like I said, I don't know if you're related to him or something. But with that being said, man, I appreciate all the love and support. So, did we have a topic at hand?
The Shawn Porter becoming Crawford #1 mandatory.
Yeah, see, Shawn Crawford told him, you have to be in position. He said, I have bigger fish to fry. So what Shawn Porter did, he was like, you know what? I'm going to go the mandatory route. I'm going to earn my position. I'm going to earn my shot. And I respect that. Cause see, I hate when fighters never call out a fighter, or they not interested in a particular fighter, but as soon as they in a bad predicament, then they want that fight they've been avoiding the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Shawn Porter shows that he don't give a damn about, you know, the belts or all that. He just want to fight the best, and that's why he putting himself in position to fight Crawford. Mr. Mechanical. Hold on. Okay, I got it. My man said, what up, AKHi with Gary Russell? Got all these fighters in witness protection not responding. Hey, we going to dive into that because Devin Haney also, you know, been going back and forth with him, and we definitely going to talk about it. I'll drop the video on that. So, Mechanical, my own AKHi, showing love yet again on Boxing Hoods. I appreciate you pulling up every single time, and all of my AKHis in the comment section. We definitely going to talk about it. That's a topic that my man want to talk about, so make sure you include that. All right. So, like I said, with
which one is that?
You know, the Gary Russell topic.
Okay.
But what happened was Shawn Porter, he realized I have to put myself in position to fight Crawford. He not just going to give me a shot, because Crawford made it clear, if you wanted to fight me, you should have called me out when you had a strap so we could unify. Now you coming off a loss, you calling me out. Now Crawford was like, you know what? Porter was like, you know what? You do have a point. He went and got a win. Now he put himself in a #1 position as his mandatory. Crawford just fought his mandatory Mean Machine, so it's going to be up to a year till that position actually activates as his mandatory, where he actually have to be forced to fight him. And, you know, then Crawford could fight him, right? So I love the fact that he putting himself in position. Also, Shawn Porter is putting different options on the table. He could either stay active, or he could fight an Ugas again, a Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. I don't want to see the Errol Spence fight, because you have to earn it. You know, you have to run it back with some fighters that gave you close fights, like Keith Thurman or Ugas, or even Danny Garcia. I mean, Danny Garcia, he already beat Danny Garcia. So even a Kell Brook, Kell Brook actually beat Porter. So if you could beat a Kell Brook, that would be a great look. You know what I mean? So I love what Shawn Porter is doing. That's what you have to do if you want to fight somebody. You have to put yourself in position. Just quit asking for a fight, because sometimes you ask for a fight, that particular fighter might not fight you for whatever reason. But one way you could, you could fight somebody is force the fight, make them look bad. Because once Shawn Porter becomes his mandatory, he's forcing the fight. Terence Crawford he can't avoid Shawn Porter anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because if Terence Crawford mandatory is due, and Terence Crawford decides to vacate his strap, people are going to question, hold on, you fought all of your mandatories, and as soon as it was Shawn Porter, now you want to give up your strap? So again, it's a great plan. I respect the plan, and I love the plan. Shawn Porter arguably have the best resume in the game. So you having him under your resume is great. So that's a great fight for Terence Crawford as well. It is going to be a tremendous fight. Stylistically, it's the toughest out of the bunch. I think Terence Crawford will have his toughest fight against the Shawn Porter. I think Keith Thurman stylistically is made for Crawford. I think Danny Garcia stylistically is made for Crawford. The only fight that's super duper tough is the Shawn Porter for Crawford. Besides an Errol Spence, of course. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about outside of the top two, which is Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. The toughest fight for Terence Crawford stylistically is Shawn Porter. And that's just what I believe. So with that being stated, let's go ahead and move on to the next round.
To move on.
Hold on. If you want to call in, all you have to do, as you see above right here, the number is as you see on the screen, and just put in the code. Just call in. I'll pick up the call. So, yeah, what's the next topic?
To jump into the Gary Russell topic, Devin Haney offers Gary Russell Jr. 1.5 million to fight.
Yeah, so I reported on that. He pretty much told him we have $1.5 million on the table for you because you called out Terence Crawford.
Who, Gary?
Yeah, he calling out Terence Crawford. He said he willing to move up 4 weight divisions to fight Crawford. So Devin Haney took the opportunity. He was like, you know what? We got that money for you. Come fight me for that 1.5 million. Because see, Gary Russell is in a very tough position. He's the most avoided at 126. You got to remember, Cruz avoided him. Frampton avoided him. Abner Mares avoided him. And these guys are under the same network, under the same banner. So the fights are makeable. Like for example, Gary Russell and Shakur, they are on 2 different networks. They really have to work something out for them to fight each other. But guys like Cruz and Gary Russell, that fight is so makeable. However, Cruz fighting Gervonta instead, which is like, really, you moved up a division to fight Gervonta, but not Gary Russell. But because that's a big money fight. However, the Gary Russell fight is also a huge fight, but it's going to be a huge ass whooping in the process. And Cruz didn't want the smoke. So Gary is, I hate to use this word, but he's desperate for a good fight. He felt like he in the wrong sport. The man is like, man, I really thought this sport is about the best versus the best. I'm finding out it's about like nearly the best maneuvers versus the best maneuvers. Like, damn, I can't get a freaking fight. So he now chasing all these guys at 135. Then he started chasing Crawford after he told the story of him cracking his jaw, which it turned out he did, hit Crawford, but he didn't break his jaw, according to witnesses. But either way, he got the lick on Crawford. And actually, Crawford told my man Dante years ago that this story happened, and he informed him about the story in general. But anyways, so Crawford pretty much was getting called out by Gary Russell. Gary Russell already made it known that he wants Devin Haney. And he actually had a conversation with Devin Haney's dad, Billy Haney. And he told Billy Haney, the only reason I'm saying you guys ducking me because I threw out a number and you guys never called, y'all never got back at me. And Billy Haney responded by telling him, well, that number you wanted, because they didn't want to throw out the number. Yeah. He said, that number you wanted was too much. We can't provide it for you. If you could provide it for us, we fight you on PBC. We leave the zone and fight you on PBC. That's when I respected Billy Haney a whole bunch, because he really throwing his son in there with the Wolves. He threw his son in there with Lomachenko, all them guys, and they still avoid him. So I was like, damn, like really, Billy Haney he ain't playing. So I was like, okay, so it's interesting to see what's gonna develop. Now nothing developed and nothing escalated after that. So I'm assuming Gary Russell couldn't provide the money. Now the money, I'm figuring that I'm assuming it's more than 1.5 million that Gary Russell wanted from Billy Haney. However, when Devin Haney heard that Gary Russell is willing to move up to 147, 4 weight divisions, only for 1.5 million to fight Crawford,
the same amount of money.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm gonna offer him the same amount of money, and now I'm putting him in position. I'm putting him on the spotlight. The ball is in his court because he keeps saying I'm ducking him. However, he asked for too much money that we can't provide him. But since he's willing to fight Crawford for 1.5 million, which is looking pretty to me, 1.5 million is a lot of money. Is it worth it to move 4 weight divisions? Absolutely not. Well, why did Gary Russell say that? Because it's a win-win situation.
There's no expectations.
They will shit on Crawford from now till whenever. If he fights freaking Gary Russell, and he's moving up 4 weight divisions. Never been done in history. So Gary knows it's a win-win situation and lose-lose situation for Crawford because he's in a very tough predicament. Meanwhile, the Devin Haney fight, now people they're gonna put down on you like, oh yeah, it's tough. You know, moving up 2 weight divisions, only few fighters in history were capable of pulling it off, but it's doable. and you asking for it.
That's for Devin Haney going up.
No, Gary Russell.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. Gary Russell calling out. You know, he want to move up 2 weight divisions, so it's doable. You know, to move up 2 weight divisions, but you know what I mean. Like, it's still a win-win situation because if he loses, he's expected to lose. However, it's not as severe as moving up 4 weight divisions, since that's never been done in history. So Devin realized, man, he capitalized on the moment, catching Gary Russell slacking with his beef back and forth with Terence Crawford. Like, yo, if you're willing to fight him for 1.5, moving up 4, you're going to fight me for 1.5, only moving up 2 weight divisions. So he captured a moment. You know what I mean? Everything is timing, and I believe Devin Haney did the right thing. So now the ball is in Gary Russell court. So I'm kind of curious to see what Gary Russell have to say. I'm curious to see what kind of offer they're going to send him and if Gary Russell's going to accept the offer. So with that being stated, you know, it's a tremendous fight. I stand by what I say. I think Gary Russell, one of the best in the game. He the fastest boxer today in general, but one of the fastest of all time. However, he's going to be hitting, he's going to be hitting air all night. You got to find something to hit, man. And Devin Haney have that reach where he's going to be able to smack Gary Russell a mile away. Do you know that Devin Haney fights at 135, Crawford fights at 147, and Devin Haney is taller and has more reach than Crawford? So
it shows potential where he's going to be in the future.
And he's only 20, 21 years old. So he have the frame. That's why I keep saying he have the frame to eventually move up to 140, not just 147, to 160. So you're talking about a guy that could reach you a mile away. So the only way Gary Russell could touch him up is in the inside, right? But I got bad news for you. Devin Haney is a beast in the inside, man. I've seen that dude work. And I'd be like, damn, he don't spar how he fights. Like Devin Haney, when he fights, like he fight like he pretty boy, like he's boxing, you know what I mean? Like he's showing his skill. And then in sparring, it's like on some doghouse, like he really showing his dog in the ring. You know what I mean? So I don't see Gary Russell being able to even beat him in the inside because Devin could fight in the inside, mid-range, and the outside. He has the reach, the height, the power, the skill, and he have not as his hand speed is not as much as Gary, but he has similar hand speed, just as fast. He's more of a singular puncher. Also, he's a great counter puncher, and he have good experience for his age. 2 things that Gary Russell have on his side is hand speed and experience. I wouldn't even say southpaw because a southpaw would have been an advantage if you have reach, or at least close, you know, similar reach, or even, you know, like being, I mean, like I said, the difference between the reach and the height is a nightmare. And the fact that Gary Russell has to move up 2 divisions in the process, even more of a nightmare. You know what I mean? So I just don't see, like I said, I just can't see it happening. And pro education, call in. Don't troll. Okay, I got a caller. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the calls. Who this is, and what are you calling from?
It's Kurt. I'm calling from New Orleans, man.
From New Orleans. What's up, Key? This is free education in the comment section, or somebody else?
It's free. It's Kurt from New Orleans, man.
What's up?
Man. I love what you're doing, though, Key.
I appreciate it, my man. Talk to me, man. Is it a Gary Russell? Let's cook.
Man, it's Gary Russell, is all of them, but my main thing is Terence Crawford. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my main thing about Terence Crawford is, you know, like, why is he taking fights? I just don't understand that. Like, you know, like, you got to pick somebody, you know, like a Shawn Porter, or, you know, you have to take someone to establish yourself. And just like from what I've been seeing, he don't want to take no one, and I don't understand that. He just want to move straight from. He just gonna be Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao. It's like you got to do something else first, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I don't know what's going on with Crawford. I don't know what is his plan. You know what I mean? At this point,
Right.
like you said, Errol Spence, for example, right? He fighting Danny Garcia. The fight before that, it was Shawn Porter. The fight before that was Mikey Garcia. And a couple fights before that, it was Kell Brook. Now, these are tremendous names at the welterweight division. That's what you got to do to build your brand. So in order for us to have the fight of the decade between Crawford and Errol Spence, you know, both fighters have to fight name fighters. If it's only Errol Spence fighting name fighters, then, you know, a lot of people are, you know, the fight is not going to be a magnitude type of fight. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what is Crawford thinking. Like I said before, if it's the money, well, say it's the money. Say we don't have the money to offer these guys. You know what I mean? But don't say I only want title holders, and then you over here trying to negotiate with Lopez. Like that's not a good look on your side. You know what I mean? And I gotta call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I mean, you had to fight with Kell Brook. Come on, man. Y'all knew that man wasn't gonna take no one. I think he really scared to fight them other. I don't know. I ain't gonna say no fighter scared because I know they put their heart in it, and I know how true them fighters are. But you know, it's like, why would you just want to take a title fight? Come on, everybody else, Danny Garcia don't really have no belt right now. Errol Spence fighting him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to put your muscle out there.
So you think, okay, what's a fair offer for Kell Brook, in your humble opinion? Because 1.5, you feel like that's a huge low blow. And I really think it's the money because of the pandemic, because you got to remember, you know, my man was complaining about the pay as well. Tio Lopez, he was saying they were offering me 1.25 million to fight Lomachenko, which is chump change. But he eventually took the fight, right? So Kell Brook is a non-champion. What do you think is a fair, legit offer for him to take the fight?
I'm gonna say $2 million.
2 million? That's good. That's good. That's, I mean, that's doable. It should be offerable.
You know, he could have counter offered too. I'm quite sure.
Right.
They could have made that happen. You know, I just think he don't want to put his title on the line to nobody but Pacquiao and Errol Spence. That's the way I feel about Terence Crawford. My humble opinion, I really think, you know, he didn't come to a point in his career to where he don't want to have a chance of getting in the ring and losing to Ugas or Shawn Porter or Danny Garcia or one of those type fighters. He gonna keep cherry picking till he gets to Danny Garcia, Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao. That's my humble opinion.
I mean, the only good thing about this whole thing is that at least he gunning for the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, Errol is the biggest of them all. Manny's still a good fight. You know what I mean? Like, if he's avoiding Errol Spence and Manny, I would have really had a huge issue with that. But like I said, I really think it's the money. But if it's the money, come on, say it's the damn money. Damn it. Like, you know what I mean? Quit saying. Yeah, like I felt like it's an ego thing as well, though, because with the Keith Thurman situation and the drama back and forth, like Errol Spence, he played Keith Thurman like a fool. He said, tables turn. You know, you didn't entertain me on the come up. I'm not going to entertain you now since you're coming off a loss. So I think Crawford tried to do the same thing. But I think he's just not in position to do that because he needs a name. So, you know, like I said, you know, you got to let that ego go aside and kind of just try to make the best fights available.
And another thing about my boy Devin Haney, I know you like Devin Haney. I know you like what he's doing, but at the same time, man, Devin Haney is a baby, and I know you know boxing. And I know you be watching. I know you can see it. Devin Haney is the baby, bro. Like
he a baby that can fight.
He could, but realistically, do you see him beat the Tank?
Look, man, I'm be honest with you. If anybody could do it, like Tank is one of them special fighters. So you can't just be a damn anybody and beat Tank. Like Tank is a couple people that could beat him. Himself, that's the main person that I'm worried about. I'm like, God damn, I don't know. Tank, like, he need to get himself together, right? And that person in the mirror could beat Tank. Also, I believe Devin Haney has a good chance because of his height and reach. Like you said, he's green, but man, that dude know how to fight, man. He just got that shit you can't teach.
Yeah, I think he's a really good fighter, but I think he needs to chill out a little bit right now. You don't think so? I mean,
I can't hold the man. I can't hold the man back from wanting to be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really pushing for all the smoke. So it's kind of like, you know, I really can't hold somebody back from achieving greatness, for starving for greatness. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit back and watch you trying to be great. You know what I mean? So I got nothing but respect for that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I got a decaf on the line. I really want to knock him out. So can you say your last couple of thoughts? Hey, you already know. Hey, stay tuned, because I'm about to eat him up.
I already know you about to eat him up. I want Tank to fight Lomachenko after this fight. He just said some shit on the Man podcast.
What he say
about Lomachenko? He need to tell Floyd, let him loose, and let him earn his fucking victory, because he could smash that man. He needs to stop holding back. Fuck all that waiting. Smash Lomachenko. He's great, but I know Tank can smash.
He gonna let Lopez do the job. Like, I don't know what he's waiting for. Like, you got to remember, Lomachenko is not this like special talent where he could never lose. Like, there's a blueprint to beating him. He already lost before. So, you know, Gervonta need to capitalize on the moment while the man is hyped up as pound for pound #1 by old media, and go smash him, like you said. Because you waste your time fighting Ryan Garcia, and a guy like Devin Haney might mess around, or Shakur might mess around and beat this man before you get to him. So I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah, before you even could get to him, because see, who beats him right now will get the most out of the situation, because Lomachenko is so overhyped at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he overhyped. And I think if anybody can beat him, Tank got the dog, they need to let him loose and he will smash.
Yes, sir.
I know he will.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
Holding them back for him.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the call. All right, great talking to you. So shout out to my man from Richard. That's Richard, right?
New Orleans,
my man. Hey, shout out to you, my man. Peace. What's going on? Is this free education? Because I see you calling from an unknown number. So what's goody?
Hey, what's good?
So what's up? You say you're gonna knock me out. So talk to me. Because we short on time, and you calling the last couple minutes. So go ahead and lay out your couple comments, what you disagree, etc., etc.
No, I don't disagree at all, man. I love y'all.
Oh man, you love me. I love you right back, man. So this ain't free education.
Nah, man, I'm calling from Mercedes Davis.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Hey, well, I got this decaf in the comment section. He talking crap. I assumed him. Excuse me. Damn, I can't even get a word out. He got me speechless. Hey, I really wanted some smoke from him, but it is what it is. But what's up, Aki? Talk to me.
Oh man, I just want to say I appreciate you and everything like that. That's all, you know. So,
I appreciate it.
It's all good. Oh, yeah. It's good to see your brother as well, you know.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for calling in. Shout out to my man, showing love, calling in to Boxing Hood. I appreciate it, Aki. So this is my man calling through. Peace. Damn, man. Like I said, where are these? See, hey, where are these decafs when you need them? We got to settle with the music instead. You know what I mean? Where are these decafs when you need them? I got Pro Education shook. I got T-Tone shook. They scared to look every time Aki's on TV. They rather be a keyboard warrior. But I got something for you guys, because See, these decafs, they really don't want no smoke. So I got some for them.
He said pro education.
To all the decafs, pro education and T-Tone. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Hey, snap your finger. Boom. All the decafs are restored back to split decision and boxing hood. So I dare you to call in to boxing hood and split decision. Like I said before, I mean, I don't know what to do. Do y'all want me to pause time so you could call in? Request your wish. Go ahead and collect all the Dragon Balls and grant the dragon to grow the cojones so you all could debate AKHi on split decision. With that being said, to all the decafs, oh, excuse me, boom, snap my finger, all the decafs back because I ran out of decafs. I knocked out so many decafs on split decisions that I can't even pay a decaf to call in on Boxing Hood. The Brotherhood of Boxing. AKHi stand for my brother. So if you're an AKHi of mine, subscribe below. If you're trying to get smarter by the minute, if you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these decafs, the dumb, casual ass fans that don't know shit about boxing. Word to Roger Mayweather. May he rest in peace, inshallah. Shout out to my bro Ski, my AKHi Dante, the entrepreneur of new media that I'm a part of, the real media that talk about the real issues in boxing in general. So with that being stated, subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live on Split Decision and Boxing Hood. AKHi stand for my brother. This is my own brother right here. Go ahead, tell them who you is.
My name is Shahab.
We're gonna need a government name for. I mean, excuse me. We're gonna need a nickname because you keep throwing your government name out. But his name mean a shooting star. Because he obviously, you know, he loved the sport of boxing.
We'll find the name soon.
Yeah. But with that being stated, like I said, I appreciate the love and support. I appreciate RJ, OG Swag, OJ, and all the people that threw in the super chat, supporting every single episode of mine, showing up every day. But like I said, to all the decafs, I'm going to bring y'all back to existence. Oh, my bad. That wasn't meant to be. But all I'm saying is grow the cojones and call in split decision because that's what I do to y'all cojones. Smash. We smash y'all on split decision and Boxing Hood. That's why y'all don't got the cojones to call in because y'all stay eating that contaminated meat, that wild boar that just doesn't allow your to grow because we stay smashing them. So with that being stated, we smashing cojones like tomatoes. So call in if you got cojones to all the decafs like y'all already restored back. So again, time and time again, my man Armstrong. My man said, AKHi, go look at my questions. To these guys, they can't or won't answer. I just want the best to fight the best. They only get the narrative for arguments. Like I said, they got no cojones, my AKHi. Like my man Armstrong said.
You don't know shit.
For the people that don't know shit about boxing, he was talking to.
You better not duck me, son.
Quit ducking the question.
You better not duck me, son.
Quit ducking the question. You know what I'm saying? So with that being stated, we out here. Appreciate and shout out to all my AKHis.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a madman. Wait. I shoot up the wall. I shoot up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's why I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thank you.